G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we take a look at 25 facts you may not have known about the AFL. Let's get stuck in. 1990 was the year that the VFL changed to what we know it today, the AFL. Alongside the iconic MCG for holding the AFL Grand Final each year, the Gabba, Waverley Park, Princess Park, Junction Oval and Lake Oval are grounds that have hosted a Grand Final before. Before Collingwood's Grand Final win in 2010, their last Grand Final win in the last Saturday of September was 1958. Collingwood did win a flag in 1990, however that game was played on the 6th of October, not the last Saturday of September. Sorry to stitch you up, Collingwood fans. When the South Melbourne Swans were changing into the Sydney Swans, the players actually still lived and trained in Melbourne. They fully became the Sydney Swans in 1983. Michael Tuck, a legendary player for the Hawks, holds the record for the most premierships by an individual player with 7 flags from 11 Grand Finals. Nick Smith was a reliable and effective backman for the Sydney Swans for many years with 211 games. However, did you know that in those 211 games, he did not receive a single Brownlow vote? He holds the record for the most games played without a vote. The tallest player in the history of the AFL was Aaron Sandilands, standing at a whopping 211 centimeters tall, or 6'9" for all those American viewers out there. 100 goals in a season is a huge accomplishment. It rarely happens, but when it happens, well, we all know what happens. But did you know in 1970, three players kicked over 100 goals, which were Peter Hudson with 146, Peter McKenna with 143, and Alex 𝔸𝔹𝕆𝕌𝕋 UBT with 115. Jim Stynes, rest in peace by the way, played the most consecutive games in AFL history with 244 games in a row. That's a lot of persistence. The 1972 VFL Grand Final holds an amazing record. It holds the highest losing score in a Grand Final, which was achieved by Richmond with 150 points, losing to Carlton with 177. Round 16 of the 2001 season witnessed the biggest comeback ever. Essendon managed a 69-point comeback against North Melbourne. When Hawthorn entered the competition in 1925, they were originally called the Mayballoons. Did you know that the longest suspension ever was 99 weeks? In 1910, Carlton players Doug Fraser and Alex Lang were found guilty of bribery. The biggest on-field suspension was in 1925, committed by North Melbourne player Fred Rutley. He was reported 6 times in one game. 3 of them were striking, 2 of them were kicking, and 1 melee. He was suspended for 89 weeks. The smallest player ever to play AFL footy was Jim Bradford, standing at 152 centimeters or 5 foot tall, and weighed only 53 kilos. The best vertical jump height ever at the AFL Draft Combine was achieved by Marvin Bainham, an African American basketball player from the States, given it a crack to make the AFL. He jumped an impressive 88 centimeters high. The youngest player ever to make their debut in the league was Claude Clough. He made his debut at 15 years and 209 days old for St Kilda. Terry, Anthony, Chris and Neil Danaher are all brothers that have played in the AFL. They all share the record for the most combined games as brothers in AFL history with 752 games. There once was a game in 1996 between Essendon and St Kilda where all of a sudden a blackout occurred during the game at Waverley Park. The game was then abandoned. When Aussie rules football was first invented, the game actually had no fixed time limit. How it worked was the winner was decided by whoever kicked the first 2 goals. Even though the AFL stands for Australian Rules Football, the game is not only played in Australia, it's actually played in over 80 countries, including the likes of America, Canada, Denmark, South Africa, Iceland, the list goes on. Here's a chart that shows all the different countries around the world that do play AFL. Essendon and Carlton share the record for the most premierships won by a team, with 16 each. There have been 3 drawn grand finals in the history of AFL. Collingwood and St Kilda in 2010, Collingwood and North Melbourne in 1977, and Essendon and Melbourne in 1948. Gary Ablett Sr. and Gordon Coventry both share the record for the most goals kicked in an AFL Grand Final, with 9 each. The first player to ever win the Brownlow medal was Edward Greaves in 1924. He played for the Geelong Cats for 10 years and he won it with 7 votes. Jock McCarr was one of the most successful coaches in AFL/VFL history. He coached the most games by any coach with 714 games in total, 4 more than Mick Malthouse. Did you know that there was a team that actually won the Wooden Spoon and the Premiership in the same year? Fitzroy managed to do this in 1916. How this was done, that only 4 clubs competed in 1916 due to World War I. Fitzroy finishing 4th. Yes, they won the Wooden Spoon, but they were still in the hunt for finals, and they managed to win 3 finals to claim the premiership. So fellas, I hope you enjoyed those 25 facts that you may not have known about the AFL. This was a fun video to make and took some time to edit, so a like and subscribe would be much appreciated. Thanks for watching fellas, see you later.